play behind it. And then whatever's the
Heading down the home stretch in the Hoodwood, I'm your man KJ. Thanks for joining me this week. And now let's look at the Phat Dapple, the head slap of the week. And the Phat Dap is going to go to the unibrow, Anthony Davis of the New Orleans Pelicans. This young man has played out of his mind. Now, give it his first playoff foray was against the rampaging Golden State Warriors, but he still held his own. This year against the Portland Trailblazers, he's been nothing short of dominant. Think about this. Anthony Davis averaging 30 points and 10 rebounds in playoffs. There's only 3 other players that have been able to start their playoff careers averaging 30 points and 10 rebounds. Wilt Chamberlain, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, and Bob McAdoo. I always like saying McAdoo for some strange reason. I like the way that comes out. But nevertheless, that's the list. 30 points, 10 rebounds in the first 7 playoff games. Dominant. Sheer dominant. And you think about this. Anthony Davis is still 25 years of age. He's still a young man, kids. And I'll tell you this right now. Anthony Davis, no matter if he's still in New Orleans or if he goes to another team, he's going to be an absolute problem to deal with. And he's going to make any team a force. You think about him playing without Boogie Cousins, who has been injured since January. He has carried that team. And they're going to sweep, I think, the Portland Trailblazers. They should be able to finish that off. Phat Dap to Anthony Davis, a young man with incredibly bright upside. And he's just going to get better, folks. That's Phat Dap of the week. Head slap of the week. Oh, man. What can you say about the Cincinnati Reds? They are atrocious. And I'm not just saying bad. I'm talking absolutely horrid. Their 3-17 start is one of their worst in 100 years. Think about that, people. The Cincinnati Reds as a professional franchise has been around since 1869. It's 2018. This team has hit historically horrid levels. Brian Price was relieved of his duties as manager on Thursday. The Reds being 3-15. Jim Riggleman takes over as interim manager, and he's gotten absolutely nothing out of this team either. They've lost their first 2 games under his watch. Their 3-17 start is their worst in close to 100 years. The Depression era teams that the Reds fielded were classically bad. Team lost 99 games in 1934. This is a team that has prided itself on tradition, winning. I mean, this team 5 years ago was in the wild card. 6 years ago, won 97 games. Wasn't good enough for the natives, though. Ran Dusty Baker off pretty much with a whip and a stick, despite him winning 91, 97, and 90 games in 3 of his last 4 seasons. Brian Price never won more games than he lost in any season. Never had a winning season in any of his 4+ years. 2014, 15, 16, and 17. Never had a winning season and started out 3-15 this season. Though he lasted longer at the tenure of the manager of the Cincinnati Reds than Davey Johnson, Lou Piniella, Jack McKeon. All of those managers won more than they lost. managing the Cincinnati Reds. Lou Piniella won a world title in 1990. Davey Johnson, a divisional title in 1995. Good times all. But none of them stayed longer than Brian Price. Brian Price given the gate as Reds manager way too long in his tenure. And I say good riddance to bad rubbish. The Cincinnati Reds may have a historically bad season. The last time they lost 100 games was in 1982, where they went 61 and 101. They could press that team for being the worst in Reds history. And it's a sad, sad fall for a once proud organization. Tear it up, rebuild. What else you got left to do? You can't get any worse than what you are. Though the Reds might very well try. They get the head slap of the week. Now on to my final thought. 71 years ago, on the 15th, a brown-eyed handsome man took the field for the Brooklyn Dodgers. Jackie Robinson broke barriers, opened doors. And people say, well, his significance was only limited to sport. I say no. Think about it. Jackie Robinson hit the playing field 7 years before the landmark Brown versus Board of Topeka Board of Education ruling in the Supreme Court. Think about it. Jackie Robinson played his final game just 3 years after the Montgomery bus boycott in 1955. He came along 8 years before that. You think of the road that Jackie Robinson paved, that people like Martin Luther King was able to roll down. The debt that Jackie Robinson has, that we as a people owe Jackie Robinson, is incalculable. My grandpa is 94 years old. He saw Jackie Robinson play. And he told me of watching him play at Crosley Field and how the immense pride that his entire section, because they still had it segregated, that his entire section had watching him play, and that many people went to see the Brooklyn Dodgers play because of Jackie Robinson. Games at Old Crosley Field would swell up by thousands to see Jackie Robinson play. Now, Jackie Robinson paved the way for players of color to be in the major leagues. And though the percentage of African American or black players are at its lowest level in some time, he opened the door for blacks, Latinos, players of Asian descent, all to be able to play the great sport of baseball. And not only that, Jackie Robinson paved the way for so many other things. Because if a black man could play the American pastime, then why couldn't a black man be a Supreme Court justice, be a senator, be a mayor, be president? Here's to you, Mr. Robinson, for what you've done for us. Not only as me as a black man, but for everyone. You gotta give love to Mr. Robinson. That's the final thought for this week. Well, the theme music's coming up in my ears. That means your time in the Hoodwood is just about done. If you have any show ideas, please drop me an email. My email is kjgreen@blackbanditproductions.com. I'm on Twitter, kjgreenbb. I'm also on Instagram, I think. Yeah, Kevin Green. Black Bandit Productions and Enterprises is on Facebook as well. I'm pretty much everywhere. I don't think I'm on any of the other ones, though, if I can look them up. But you can find the program here on YouTube. You can find it everywhere. I'll be back next week. I thank you so much for your time and patronage. Until next time, fellow sports fans, I'll see you next week. That's it.